Okay, so here it is, finished. The plasma obliterator. Now I've put it out at a slightly wider angle here so that I can show you exactly what's going on. I do apologise about the shaky camera work, but I do all of my filming on an iPad, and doing it one-handed is a bit tricky. So yeah, what do I think of the kit? Well, I'm going to be 100% honest here, and it is an absolute pig of a model to put together. It has not been made to the highest quality standards in the world. There are parts that don't fit, there are parts that you actually have to cut off just for it to be able to go together. Parts don't line up. But overall, in the end, with a little bit of work and a little bit of effort, it actually comes out looking not too bad, and all the sort of minor flaws that are there with things not fitting, they don't really notice unless it's fairly close up. You got the main body of it that rotates around the base, and you got the top part which rotates around the top, and the upper gun, as you can see. You see it actually raises up and down, so you can move that around. It's a bit of a big beast, so let's just do a few little size comparisons. Yeah, got my little Space Marine there. So as you can see, it's a very big model, very big model indeed. I'll just do a couple of other size comparisons here. I've got my Knight, which I'll place next to it there, so you can see the sort of size comparison. So it comes up, like I said in the other video, just slightly taller than the Knight, and it's almost as wide as the Knight, and the base is much wider, but at the sort of shoulder to the main body of that, you can see that they're fairly close. The Knight's just slightly wider. And then we have here Bastion. So as you can see, that comes up roughly level. The top of that gun comes up roughly level with the battlements on there. So if I add on, here we go, there's the Icarus las cannon added on there. So with that on there, the Bastion's actually a bit taller. Yeah, I just want to go over a few little minor issues that I have had with this kit. Now, like I said, there are parts on it that don't line up, the biggest culprit of which I'm going to show you right now, and you can see right there that the two halves of this are not the same. It's completely parallel and level there, but over here, as you can see, there's an overlap. Now, you can tell from this that Games Workshop have not used their regular injection moulding process for this, and they've actually, looks like they've outsourced it out to another company, probably even a toy company. But yeah, these were, I don't know why they made these as two different parts. Could have made the same part, exactly the same size, and then just doubled up on the production. Now these parts under here, you'll find while assembling this that these tabs here are too big, and as you're assembling it, these platforms here need to sit on those tabs, but they're too thick and they end up coming up at an odd angle, and they don't sit flat on there. So what you have to do is you have to file those right back, right down, and once again, these parts here, these like bulkhead, like firing slits, they're all separate parts. You actually have to wedge those in, and some filing has to be done to actually make them sit flush. I mean, I just sort of pushed them into place and then ran a bead of super glue down the cracks like a weld, and then I used cyno activator to make it set straight away. But it's really difficult to actually get the parts to actually sit straight together. I mean, what you have to do is you assemble, if you're following the instructions, you assemble the central column first, which is one main round bit, and then there's 4 of these parts here that connect one to another. Now that bit, those bits all go together pretty nicely, pretty securely. But then what you've got to do is this facing here and this platform, they're separate parts, and you get 4 of each of those. And what you have to do is you have to assemble the platform to the front facing individually for each of the 4 bits. Then what you have to do is you have to hold them against the central column. Now all these platforms do is butt up against each other, and there's nothing in the center that holds them in place, because like I said, those tabs need to be filed right down. Yeah, so those tabs on there need to be filed right down. So unless you get them all exactly to the right position, you need a way of actually propping up the central column so that all the parts don't just collapse in on themselves. And then, after that's done, you've got to make sure that the central column is perfectly upright, because then each of these parts connect along the join and up the shaft. And there's, once again, there's 4 of those. And if your central column isn't exactly straight, then they will not sit flush at the proper 90-degree angle that they need to go at. I mean, this base is fairly simple, but it's, as you can see from there, it doesn't really line up. I mean, I just placed that flat and glued it together. You can see that those don't really match up that well, and that is as good as I could get it. Not without, like, I'm gonna have to do some green stuff filling and some filing down. But yeah, that's pretty much my assessment of the kit. Horrible model to put together, but once it is assembled, I think it actually looks pretty cool. And once it's assembled and you've got it looking fairly decent and then it's painted up, the problems with the kit just fade away as a distant memory. It's a nice model. I don't get me wrong, it is a nice model. It is just a poor kit to put together. But if you can manage to get it together, fitting in all the correct places, then yeah, you've got a nice little piece of terrain. I actually used this in an Apocalypse game at the weekend, and it performed quite well. So yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on the kit. So yeah, if you've got one of these yourself, let me know what you think, and like and subscribe to the channel, and see you again later. Bye-bye.